President Bola Tinubu has described the flag-off of the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar coastal highway as his day to boast, saying the deal is done and the project is realizable. Tinubu spoke from the Ahmadu Bello Way, Victoria Island, Lagos end of the project, which would traverse 9 states along Nigeria's coastal shoreline while linking the A1, A2, A3, and A4 highway corridors, vertically crossing the western, central, and eastern regions of the country north to south. But Minister of Works, David Umahi, announced that the president had directed that sections 3 and 4 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project should commence from Akwa Ibom and Cross River States, respectively. At yesterday's flag-off, Tinubu disclosed that the project would revolutionize transportation in Nigeria and bolster the unique economic strengths of each zone. He added that the project was more than a mere road, but a symbol of hope, unity, and prosperity of the country.
Today is my day to brag. Whether you like it or not, you are here. And the hope is here. So, what else? If you have hope, you have Rahman, you have Ashwaju, and you have Dave. The deal is done. The dream is realizable. Set on a journey, determined to build a nation of prosperity, embark on bold endeavor, so that your country can be successful. Generations yet unborn can have a good landmark.
We have paid all the compensation up to kilometer 6, and we have realigned the routes to save all the network of all communication companies as we directed. And we have had to redesign and realign, so that to put, human face as you directed, within the alignment.
The country is in good shape. I tell my people that if you're on the bush track and you are escorted by the lion, how can you be afraid of goats? You can't be afraid of goats because the lion is behind you. You see, in this country, Nigerians are behind you. Nigerians are behind you. Don't be afraid of those who criticize. Tomorrow they will come to see. I was talking to my brother, Aliko Dangote. Look at the Oshodi Road, Oshodi, Oworishiki, Apapa Road. Nobody thought of going to that area. And more than 80% of the big men there move out of Apapa GRA. But today, I'm sure they are going to struggle to go back there.
This is about a generational change that we are doing. This is about writing the future that we all dream about in an era where it's coming to reality. Not only will this development change a commercial, economic handshake that all of these states that I've mentioned, but it's going to bring about new conversations on opportunity of tourism. These are the things we see in other developed nations of the world, where oceans of this size, transformational development of this size, do the handshake that brings about goods, economic development, and change of lifestyle.
Well, many congratulations in order, starting from the president, and then, of course, the Minister of Works. It was his day of glory as well. And you could hear the tone of his voice. That's former governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi, and, of course, Lagos State governor and the other governors who were present. Many stakeholders, their day of boasting and glory. Your take on this story?
I mean, like the president said, it's time to boast. The road is finally on the way as we speak. He said there's going to be a lot of economic benefits. In fact, he touted a certain number, said 30 million businesses. Then I began to check my data. How many million SMEs do we even have in the country before you say 30 million businesses? Secondly, he also talked about the fact that now that we've just been seeded some part of the continental shelf, about 16,000 kilometers of that is also going to boost marine endeavors and all of that across the area. He talked about the fact that Akwa Ibom and Cross River will be used to start the third and fourth session, pretty much touted the project as a big project. Also muted the idea of the Sokoto-Badagry Road, which has been in the works for over 40 years and all of that. And talked about the benefits of the road, the open trade and investment and all of that. I mean, it's his day in the sun. It's been a collection of many projects being done. I think one that is also dear to heart that he talked about is the Enugu-Abakaliki-Ogoja Road. He also talked about the Nembe Road, the Ogbe-Nembe Road, which is very instructive because those people have not had roads since the 1940s. I hear, but finally they've been able to do it. And concerning that road, I'd like to also give special commendation. Yes, the NDDC pushed it with Shell, but I also give special commendation to Timi Alaibe. Timi Alaibe was very instrumental in that road coming to be in the first place, when it was first started in 2005. And finally, that road is reality today. It's been commissioned. So it's been a lot of commissioning of many roads and all of that. But there are some sticking points. When Mr. Omayi was speaking, was talking about the fact that they've rerouted and realigned the route to be able to accommodate telecoms cable. It is indicative that they didn't do a proper work on the EIA. Because if you had done the proper work on the EIA, it's not when you start a project you know there's a telecoms cable underneath. You should be able to see that. And that's what the EIA does when you capture effectively. So I think it's just been a vindication. The routing of that kilometer from 16 to 25 kilometers, it's just been a vindication that all the things we said about EIA was correct and the facts are out there. Also, he talked about the fact that, they're paying compensation and all of that. The question is, has the compensation been entirely paid or some people have just come forward because there's been a lot of talk? And what is the real value on the real project? Yeah, some people got a handy deal as regards the compensation, but is it pervasive across board? I mean, that's another part of the story. But all in all, he's been commissioning a lot of projects. Yes, he's brought us a lot of gridlock also in Lagos, I should say. Life was hell yesterday trying to navigate, but that's always the deal when the president comes to town. But congratulations on all these projects.
All right, congratulations.
Okay, we're saying all of this within the context of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's one-year anniversary in office. And both the government and the people of Nigeria are trying to look at, okay, how do we celebrate this 1 year in office? What are the deliverables? Last week, we had some ministers, about 8 of them, giving a scorecard across a spectrum of ministries, including, petroleum, including oil and gas, that's petroleum, including interior and all of that. All of them are coming to say this is what we've been able to achieve. After that, we are told that the process will continue this week. But in between, the president of Nigeria decided to come to Lagos, his home base, to come and celebrate his 1 year anniversary in Lagos. Now, the program that has been drawn up for Lagos shows that it will flag off the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway, shows that one, it would inaugurate, commission, whatever phrase they are using, the road leading to the port. And there will also be a ceremony on the Third Mainland Bridge to show that the Third Mainland Bridge has been renovated. I'd like to just look at the program that they have designed for the President of Nigeria in Lagos. Now, take the Third Mainland Bridge. I have on this program, before now, praised Dave Umahi, who is an engineer, who has done well, renovating that Third Mainland Bridge and making sure that it's different. Because that bridge that is 30 years old has been renovated, refurbished, reorganized, whatever phrase they use, in the last 25 years, about 20 times. In fact, during Buhari's administration, that bridge, that same bridge, was shut down for about 6 months. We got nothing from it. But Dave Umahi came, who is an engineer, and I keep using him as an example of a round peg in a round hole. And he fixed that Third Mainland Bridge. I commended him. But what I do not understand is how the president of Nigeria, on the occasion of first year anniversary, will make the renovation of a 30-year-old bridge a major issue. I think I've seen some footages showing the president or the decoration of that bridge, showing that the president is celebrating that the Third Mainland Bridge was fixed. In some other jurisdictions, that bridge, fixing it will not be a problem. In fact, that bridge will not collapse or have issues in 30 years. And it will not have to be renovated 20 years in 25 years. That's number one. That should have been a routine administrative thing that the minister could have handled. That was why I left it at the level of the minister. I hope they will not go and take President Tinubu there to go and be commissioning a 30-year-old bridge. The second thing is the road leading to the ports. Part of the program that I've seen in the media says President Tinubu is going to make a hue and a cry over the road leading to the ports that has been fixed. Look, that road should not be damaged in the first place. It was a nightmare to people like Emmanuel Efeni, who for the better part of their years worked in that axis, going to this day office in Apapa. Okay, I suffered with them briefly when Arise News was in Apapa and we had issues getting to the studio or traveling on the seas to make Arise News function. Now, the issue is not about that road to Apapa. The issue is about the ports. If President Tinubu was coming to Lagos to say, oh, we have done some big things at the ports, I will understand that, and I will celebrate that on the occasion of his first year anniversary. So those two caveats, these are caveats. I now get to the subject. What is the main subject? Yesterday, President Tinubu said he has bragging rights. He has launched the coastal highway, Lagos to Calabar, and all that. Well, I understand for him, the father, he says this is a legacy project. And he says this can be compared to a similar project in Ireland, which is over 2,000 kilometers long, and the benefits that you can get from that. But there are residual issues to consider. If he says it's a legacy project, then he has an obligation to complete it. If he doesn't complete it, it will be an abandoned project. He was commending people yesterday, high tech, the Chaguris, Roland Chaguri, Aliko Dangote, and all of that. Yeah, good optics is fine. We had all the people making statements. When the president comes to town, everybody wants to say something. Anybody who can say something for 2 minutes was given the opportunity to say something. But now that President Tinubu has made this a major legacy project, he has to complete it. We imagine politically, students of political science will say, well, he will play his game, he will make sure he does 2 terms. So this is a major legacy project that he has to complete. He talked about benefits, 10 benefits that he identified to the 9 coastal littoral states that are affected by this project. And he talked about 2 spurs, the Sokoto-Badagry Highway and also the African trade route that will be spin-offs from this project. He talked about the economic processing zones that can come up. A lot of promise in terms of this project. Nigerians will believe when they see it. President Tinubu also says this is a symbol of unity, a symbol of hope, a symbol of prosperity. And I think that the 10 benefits that he talked about are anchored on that template. That there will be tourism, there will be employment generation, there will be businesses for other people and all of that. Okay. He also commended the engineering profile. He called it EPC plus F, adopted by Minister Umahi. I don't have issues with Minister Umahi. I think he's a good engineer. He understands his issues. However, there are community issues about compensation. They say they have paid 2.7 billion, 75 billion to compensate people. But the people who have been compensated are saying the compensation is not enough. The people who own landmarks say, okay, Nigeria does not want us. We understand public interest and all of that. Okay, we are moving to Gambia. We have another opportunity in Gambia. The telcos whose fiber optics are affected, okay, Umahi says we are diverting that. Okay, fine. But it is important that President Tinubu realizes that a lot is at stake in this matter. And people have had to make a lot of sacrifice. This must not be a gamble. That's my point. The second point is that there are other roads that Nigerians are concerned about. The East-West Road, the road that leads to the entire East, those are also very important. What is the government going to do about those other issues? He promised yesterday that he will launch, that the government is looking at 330 roads and bridges and all of that. It is for the president to keep his promise. It is for the president to fulfill his pledge. He says this project is realizable. The people of Nigeria will hold him accountable to it. He is welcome to Lagos, where I have not been disturbed by the disruptions to traffic. So I think it's possible for them to arrange their affairs without disturbing normal traffic. But congratulations to him on the first year of his anniversary in office, and Nigerians will continue to ask questions. This message about hope will be meaningful when it is concrete, when the people can hold on to it. This is my submission.
Well, it's 1 year anniversary week, and as you would imagine, get ready for more announcements, more launches, more commissionings, and more announcements of the successes or advancements of this particular administration. However, the narrative is not just that of the government. It's the people. It's the pulse of the people. It's what the people are saying as to the effect of this government in the last 1 year. And so you'd imagine that, of course, as part of his 1 year celebration in office, the president would want to highlight or showcase one of what he said is his pride and what he would like to boast about, which is the commencement of the commission of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Now, this joy or boasting is marred by a lot of challenges, controversies, and issues, which unfortunately they haven't been able to sufficiently respond to. So despite the pomp and pageantry, there's still underlying questions and issues that ought to be responded to. Recall that we talked about it a number of times, how the opposition, in the person of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and Mr. Peter Obi, had asked some critical questions. One of which is the structure of the process of awarding of contracts, even though consistently Mr. Dave Umahi has said that due process was followed. But questions still remain in terms of the contractors, how that process was done. And then, of course, the EIA that has been talked about a number of times. Again, Mr. Dave Umahi assures Nigerians that he did that assessment before then. But some pointers reflect the fact that it couldn't have been done, and then finding certain challenges along the way. Again, it just goes to show that this week, the government will try to blow its own horns in terms of what they've been able to do, what they've been able to achieve, and give it to them in terms of kudos. They've been able to put some infrastructural development under their belt, including the refurbishment of bridges that were not their project. And when we looked at pictures, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that later on during what's trending, of the president on the bridge and all that, you're like, I wonder what he would do if he were the one that constructed the bridge. If just by mere repairing, we have a whole celebration around the, I don't know if I should call it a launch, commissioning, or acknowledgement of refurbishment of a bridge, and there's so much noise about it. But this week is maybe, judgment week in terms of Nigerians' appraisal of his first year in office. President Olusegun Obasanjo has said in terms of the economy, he hasn't handled it very well. So beyond infrastructure, we're going to be looking at other parts of his administration. But on this note, we look forward to the commencement, but even more importantly, the dealing with the critical issues that this Lagos-Calabar coastal highway has brought up. Not just sweeping it under the carpet and hoping that everything will just, go away, but actually responding to these very important issues. But let's not mar the celebrations. Let us commend the president and this administration for undertaking this very important project. One of the things he highlighted, and which I must say that I do agree with, is that it's also a symbol of unity, because we've talked about the interconnectivity of states in Nigeria, the fact that people no longer can enjoy traveling alongside, on the road to go to visit other parts of Nigeria, and hopefully that will be one of the legacies of this administration, repairing roads, ensuring there's safety on our roads, that people can see the roads being fixed, but also be able to use it because their safety is assured on these roads. We'll get to see more of this in the next few days or few hours as we lead up to the 29th of May 2024, after which many people have said they would begin to have a say as to how well or how badly he's been able to handle the economy.